Hello there, and welcome to War of the Stars. Apropos, don't you think?
Never gets old. Never gets old. Sorry.
Welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast coming to you as always from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire and the Inquisition. The Inquisitors.
The Inquisition. Sorry.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
So who are you again? What's your name? Who are you? This is going to be one of those episodes. All right.
Well, who knows? It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one.
What a fun one.
Yes. My name is John Mark Tolley. Joining me as always is my co-host Will, a.k.a. Darth Tuba. How are things out in your part of the universe, Will?
My part of the universe is doing well. It was quite warm today, but that's fine. It just gets us all ready for the summer, and
yes.
for all those students out there that the summer is rapidly approaching, and all those teachers, those hardworking teachers,
Yes.
that look forward to it as well. So we are very excited. I have been I'm actually nursing kind of either a pinched nerve or a sore back from I think it was honestly from sitting on the couch. I mean, don't get me wrong, I walk every day and I exercise every day, but over the weekend I was glued to my TV with the Star Wars Celebration live coverage. Yeah. And I got to tell you, StarWars.com knocked it out of the park. They were providing more content, either filming panels, having cameras at the panels so you could watch the panels, or actually doing their own exclusive content on this huge stage that they built where they had interviews, and not just any interviews. I mean, they were interviewing every actor from The Mandalorian, from upcoming Ahsoka, from Andor. It was incredible, and it just was very interesting. And they revealed a bunch of new things. I mean, it was so great to have this back. I mean, because they always do such a great job of really getting you hyped up.
Oh yeah.
And the big things, of course, I guess Andor, getting ready for. Well, I mean, the biggest thing was Obi Wan, but which was released. They actually got to show it to people there at 10 o'clock at night before they released it at 2 or 3 in the morning the next day. So so the people that were at the Lucasfilm panel, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen show up, and it's just nonstop cheers and they say, yeah, you guys are all invited back later, and we're gonna watch it tonight. I'm like, oh, great, okay. So I mean, it's great watching, and we'll talk about Obi-Wan. It's great watching that on Disney Plus, but you can't imagine watching any kind of Star Wars content in a room full of thousands of Star Wars fans. Just it's an incredible experience. Oh, and by the way, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor were there watching it with them, so even better.
Oh yeah. I mean, so much to talk about with Obi-Wan.
Yeah. But other things reveals, they talked about the Andor series. They released a trailer.
I saw the trailer.
Looks really
good. By the way, check out our YouTube page. You did a reaction. Yes. I did a reaction to it. My second reaction, because I did a reaction to the Obi-Wan trailer. The second Obi-Wan was the first one. I did a reaction to one of the trailers. Another trailer was the Obi-Wan trailer, and now the Andor trailer, which I am so pumped for. I mean, the return of Coruscant.
Yep. Absolutely. It sounds like they're going to do 12 episodes, which is the
longest series, and
of any series.
Yeah,
not just Star Wars, but the longest more than Marvel or anything.
Of Disney Plus series. Yeah. And if I heard right, they've already got plans for season 2.
Oh yeah, they do. In fact, I think they're getting ready to start filming. I think that they're going to do 12 episodes for the first season and 12 for the second season, and I think it's going to just be a 2-season thing, and it's going to connect right up to
That's what I heard.
Rogue One.
Connect right.
So just like Rogue One connected up to A New Hope. Okay, so very good. I'm excited about that. They talked a lot about Ahsoka. They started filming Ahsoka. They introduced the actress.
Let me just say this from a personal note. When they were doing the panel for the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, yes.
And Ashley Eckstein is doing the hosting to see Hayden Christensen and Ashley Eckstein in the same room, standing next to each other. I'm just like, oh.
And then and if that wasn't enough, she called him Sky Guy. Hey, Sky Guy, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh.
No, that was very well played. Yes. Well played.
And then of course Ashley. The line that got everyone not up in an uproar in a bad way, but so excited it was Hayden saying the line, "This is where the fun begins."
Yes, absolutely. It was such a great, and you know what it was? I think, I mean, in terms of announcements and things of that nature, I mean, I think that we're in a new kind of plane of existence when it comes to Star Wars, because we've had The Mandalorian, we've had the Book of Boba Fett, now we have Obi-Wan, we have Andor coming, we have Ahsoka coming, we had, they also talked about the Bad Batch Season 2.
Season 2, yes.
And they introduced a brand new series, Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
And
which my wife is very, very excited about that. She said that Jude Law before she met me, Jude Law was going to be her husband.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So she's very excited about that.
Fun for the whole family. All right. Nice. All right. But, yeah, so those were, like, I would say of course they kind of veered slightly away from Star Wars for a bit they had for one thing, what was, for me, I mean, it was great that they did it the last time and they did it again this time. They have a curtain open to reveal a full orchestra, and they play the Obi Wan theme, conducted by the maestro, the Jedi maestro himself, John Williams, who looks great for 90. And then after he played it, it was a beautiful theme. I have already been hearing it; it's already getting into my head. And then he said, "Okay, I know we're at a Star Wars convention. And the next piece I'm going to play is not Star Wars, but somehow I think you'll be okay with it." And he starts playing the Indiana Jones theme. But it's the amazing thing when you're in a room full, because let's face it, Indiana Jones is the not too distant cousin of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So people who like Star Wars tend to like Indiana Jones as well. It's kind of like part and parcel. But when the minute you hear that's all he had. He just needed to hear the first measure and not even first half a measure of Indy theme. The entire audience went, "Ah!" They all screamed. It was so funny. And then, of course, Harrison Ford showed up, and it was really just to kind of talk through and talk up Indy 5. But they also, and then later they talked about Willow, the Willow series. They showed a great trailer for that. So just all the 80s feels.
Oh yes. The only thing, I mean, that's another one that, especially my wife, she grew up loving Willow. Sad, unfortunately, that
Val Kilmer
will not be able to be. Mad Mardigan is not going to be able to be a part.
But I do that in the interviews they did say that the woman who was in there, the princess or whatever, who actually married Val Kilmer, but then divorced. But they're still on good terms. She said that they are honoring the character or utilizing the character. There's a way that Mad Mardigan is appearing in it in some capacity. They kept it very vague. So I don't think they're just gonna glaze over the fact that he's not there. So, and
not Star Wars related, but Lucasfilm's film related with Willow. But on a side note, if you haven't seen it, everyone out there, I highly recommend the documentary Val. Which
I've seen
Val
it.
Kilmer, amazing person, amazing actor, amazing human being. Just
absolutely.
Watch it. I can't say enough about him, but anyway.
Yeah. So lots of great reveals, great product reveals for collectors. Just an all out. So great to be back. So great to, even though I didn't even go. I can imagine people being there must have really been thrilled. And
I
it was
got to see clips of it.
Seriously. Yeah. If you go to StarWars.com, you can still watch the entire live streams, and you can fast forward through them. So you don't have to it's not like just you have to traipse through all of them if there's something that doesn't interest you. I mean, they had stuff about the High Republic, they had stuff about gaming, some stuff that I loved, and some stuff that I may not have been interested in. So on the rewatch, you just fast forward it, but don't just go to subscribe to Star Wars on YouTube, and all of the live streams are all still there, and there's live streams from the last 4 celebrations, so you can see all of them. They're really cool. Nice. But among the most exciting things was the thing that was right upon us at the start of Celebration, which was the Obi Wan Kenobi episodes 1 and 2.
Now, before we get into our discussion about this, I wanted to, because this is where I'm kind of coming from it when I was coming into it, and I was thinking about this, about how am I going to look at this? Because with a show like The Mandalorian, there was absolutely no expectations for me. New character, new setting, and I was just like, okay, I'm coming with zero expectations, and there's no bar whatsoever for it except Star Wars. It's Star Wars. That's the only bar. It has to feel Star Wars, which it did. For Book of Boba Fett, I went into it with, again, not really a lot of expectations, because this was a character that I didn't really care about coming into this. I had no expectations. He was just a meh character. So again, no expectations, and I loved it. Now, with Obi-Wan, this is a character that we've seen, that we've known, that we've fallen in love with. Do you think that people might be coming into this with higher expectations, because this is a character that we know? We know what Obi-Wan is supposed to be. Or at least in our minds, we know what Obi-Wan is supposed to be. We kind of know his story, a little bit of his story already. So do you think that maybe people are coming into this with expectations that they might not have had with, say, Mandalorian or even Book of Boba Fett?
Well, I think that's absolutely true. Now, the question is, are they managed expectations or are they unreasonable expectations? Yeah. And frankly, I don't really care. If they don't like it, they don't like it. You don't have to watch it. But as far as will just the general public have any expectations? Yeah, I mean, you have a character that's. Think about this. I mean, Boba Fett, you had a return of technically, I guess it was Daniel Logan that played Boba Fett, but Tamara Morrison played Jango Fett, and he was a clone, so you would expect Jango or Tamara Morrison to play that character if they were going to try to use continuity. Well, but that was a much more minor character in the prequels than Obi-Wan, who was very prominent in the original trilogy and in the prequels. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's going to be expectation in terms of how the character is going to act. As far as the expectation is about what the story is going to be, I mean, I would say, look, there's 20 years that passed between the time, almost 20 years, that he hands Luke the baby over to Baru White Sun, and then does the Great Dragon sound and says hello there for the first time. Okay, yeah. To R2. That is that's basically that's a long time. That's a very long time. And
in a galaxy far, far away.
In a galaxy far, far away. So, is it wrong to think that he would just be? I'm sure there are some people that are like, why would he have left Luke's side? He should have been there with his little binoculars, looking and making sure he was okay.
Well, that would make for a very boring movie show if all he was doing the entire movie was just this.
Yes, exactly. So
30 minutes, 45 minutes of just this.
I mean, and I think that's fine if that's one way the story could go, but I think that there's another way the story could go, which is that perhaps something else happens that calls him out for another adventure. All right, for another, to get, to don the lightsaber. But it isn't just about that. There's a story about this character and what has become of this character. And this character wasn't just standing there stoic, waiting for Luke to turn 18 so he could, present himself upon him as a Jedi Master and start to train him. I think that there was more going on. And I think that it's an interesting story. It's an interesting story to do. So yeah, I think expectations are, for some people, will be high. I found it interesting as we're two things. I guess we can start. Are we doing both episodes tonight or just the first?
We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Okay. We'll see how it goes. And
I think that the first thing out of the gate that I loved was the recap. I thought that was really really smart. Because let's face it, there are many people in the world that are not, that don't run podcasts or YouTube channels about Star Wars, and that saw the prequels maybe once, twice, maybe saw them once in the movies and once on DVD that they rented from Blockbuster or what have you, and then that's what they remember. So they have beats of it and the stuff that's continued in pop culture, but they need to be reminded. I mean, this is where we were. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about this prequel story that took place about this Jedi Master, Obi Wan Kenobi, that was training this boy, Anakin, and the boy turned and became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And he fought him and left him to die Obi-Wan left him to die on this volcanic mountain, and he burned up, and he figured that was it. He's done. Yeah. And he took the lightsaber and he left.
Yeah.
Not realizing that Palpatine, the Emperor showed up shortly thereafter and was able to, revive Vader.
Yeah, save him. Yeah. Well, let's just start with that opening shot. Of course. And this was my initial reaction. The first thing, like, oh, crap. Oh, this is not going to be. But the way Deborah Chow shot that scene, one take, and from the back of the camera, someone just
shaky camera angle,
almost like the old war footage.
Yeah, you're running around.
It was very chaotic and just very. And this, I believe, this is also the first time we're seeing practical clone armor. Like
now, I don't know if that's true because I thought that. I mean, everyone was saying that, but I thought that the little flashback sequence with Grogu, where he's looking at the 3 Jedi that are fighting. I'm sure there were clones in there.
Yeah, that could have. Yeah, you're right.
They might have been digital, but I thought they were real too. But you know what? I don't have. I don't have.
But still, it was it was cool to see if that was the practice, and to see like what's this, like the third time we've seen Order 66, and each time it's been, and people might ask, well, how many times can you watch Order 66? Yes, because every time they've shown it, it's been done from a different point of view.
As many times as they. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not my. I mean, it's. I don't like Order 66.
No. I mean,
I hate Order 66.
It's so intricate to the story.
Yes, and
it's
to
so
see
important.
And
did you notice that while the Order 66, you can hear over the speakers Palpatine execute Order 66, kind of reminding like all those clones that might be wanting to defect.
Right. Well, even look at Rex. I mean, when you talk about the Clone Wars last season. Rex was like resisting because he was, and he even got out, find fives. I mean, that's all they could get out before he started shooting at Ahsoka. So I'm sure he's not the only clone to question this, and his chip was not malfunctioning. So, absolutely. But no, I think they needed to tell this, but I think we're going to get more to the story. I think a lot of people are talking about that first that first youngling.
Yeah.
That looked suspiciously like a young Reva.
Yes.
And we're gonna see if that's just a red herring, or like a
we'll get. And I thought it was also an interesting thing. They waited quite a while before they showed Obi-Wan. You see the Inquisitors going into the saloon and questioning the barkeep there. But I thought it was interesting that they waited a little bit to show, instead of just being like, here's Obi-Wan. It's like, let's build it up. Let's build it up until we give final.
Well, again, I think that these were just little playful jabs from, Filoni or Favreau or whomever, that, you think that when they come in the bar looking for a Jedi, you think that they're going to find Obi-Wan hiding somewhere. And then it turns out to be a whole other Jedi, and that was like a fake out. But then eventually you see him living a very mundane provincial life, so to speak, poor provincial life, doing cutting up space whale meat, and he gets paid to do that, and then he goes just so he has enough money to barter with the Jawas, and you see him as a very quiet, solitude, a solitary man.
I saw him as a very broken man.
Yes, but I got to tell you, I mean, how much farther are they going to push the whole like Obi-Wan looking like Jesus Christ thing? I mean, it's like every time we see him, he gets more Jesus-y. Nothing against, no, not that I'm anything against that.
Yeah.
It's just funny, like when, you know, there are people putting like memes of like Happy Easter, he has risen, with pictures of Obi-Wan instead of Jesus. Yeah. I'm like, that's gotta be you're breaking some commandment. So, but whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, but he I love the look of him. He doesn't even looks like he's scrawny. He looks like he's just broken down. You know, he's become like everybody else on Tatooine. You know,
yeah.
And you know, he's by himself and he doesn't talk to. You know, you see him like kind of having some dreams. You see him, you know, go through the same thing like second time, trying to, you know, call out to his master. One of the things that they put on the recap was how he can commune with Yoda will teach him how to commune with Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
So you wonder if Qui-Gon is going to make an appearance in any way, shape, or form. We will see. But so it's been 10 years. It's not this is not just right after the fact that this is 10 years. So this has been eating away at him.
Yeah.
And he is broken. And
we even see that whenever the other Jedi finally meets up with him.
Well, that's one of the things I think that we needed that other Jedi for many reasons, but one of them was to be able to have a conversation with Obi-Wan. Yeah. You know what I mean? If he's not going to be communing with, I mean, I think that the whole reason and this is just my own thoughts, but the whole reason that he is not communicating with Qui-Gon is that I think he's lost his way a bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure
I think he's kind of shut himself because you don't see him using the Force any.
Well, I heard he calls out to. Well, that's true, yeah. But he calls out to his master, so I don't know if he's.
So it could be that because you know.
I think he's not using. I don't think he's choosing not. I don't think he's not using the Force out of like in the same reason that Luke on Ahch-To didn't use the Force. You know, he shut himself off from it. Or maybe in some ways this is why Luke shut himself off for some reason. But that was he's trying not to expose himself. He's trying to stay hidden, and that's why he stays in a solitary life, kind of off the thing. But even in that solitary life, he has to work and earn a few credits. So there he is in the little, you know, temporary meatpacking plant, and you know, he guy in front of him is feeling like he's getting shortchanged, and the gigantic, you know, manager is like, "You got something you don't want to say or whatever," and you know, he pushes the guy, and then Obi-Wan kind of looks at him, and you think he's going to do something, but he doesn't. He doesn't, because he doesn't want to. He's all about the mission, but I think he's forgotten what it means to be a Jedi, because you know. But he's so wrapped up in that mission of don't be seen.
But at the same time, if you notice, there is still little tells, because the way he always carefully cleans his knife.
Oh yeah, I mean
he takes care of his tools.
Right, he's being particular. Yeah, but
which is that Jedi training. I mean, yes. He would do the same thing with his lightsaber. Make sure.
But I think he's going through the motions that he's been trained his whole life since birth. But in reality, when it comes to, you know, the fight, you know, he said we lost, and he's defeated. So that's where we meet him. That's where we meet Obi-Wan, and you know, he dismisses the Jedi, says, "Go bury your lightsaber, in sand, and you know, just the Jedi are done."
Yeah. Forget about it.
And then we cut to another place, right? Is that where we cut to Alderaan?
I believe so. Yeah.
Around that time. Yeah.
Which again, this is the first time we've really, other than the
very last scene of
episode 3, we've never really seen Alderaan before. So this was cool, seeing Alderaan.
And how fun! I mean, I'm sorry. If there is a human being, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. and that's just fine. I have to preface that.
Yeah.
But my opinion is that if your opinion and anybody's opinion is that precious young girl that is playing Leia is not the most adorable, cutest, and spot on Carrie Fisher impersonator, in terms of Adam.
Yeah.
If anybody does not see that, you have no soul.
She was in
that perfect combination of cute and sassy.
And the fact that she looks a little, because me and my wife first looked at her and was like, oh, she's cute. But I was like, she seems a bit small and short to be a 10-year-old. Like, she seemed like
Leia, like Carrie Fisher seemed short and small to be whatever age she was.
Which that's why it was so perfect, because you have someone who's a little bit shorter for what her age, quote unquote, is supposed to be, but has that sass, that little spark, that spunk, exactly. And I will say this: me and my daughter have been talking a while about doing Ahsoka Anakin or Ahsoka Obi-Wan. We've decided now for Halloween we're going to do Obi-Wan and young Leia.
Nice. I'm actually my daughter, who just watched it today down in Florida. She was so cute. She was texting us, as it was going on, and it was like, she's at that part. And she's not that we don't get together for Halloween because of my job doesn't allow me to get down there.
Right.
But we were joking, like, she was like, I want to cosplay with Mom. I want Mom to be Brea Organa, and I'm going to be Leia. That was like.
And can I just say officially, Bail Organa, greatest space dad in history.
Oh yeah, he's the best. And I'm so happy that they keep bringing Jimmy Smith back. But you gotta laugh. I mean, Jimmy Smith, what he must be thinking in his back of his mind. He did this little part in Revenge of the Sith in 2005 or 2004, really, when they filmed it, or 2003. And that's it, Then fast forward to like 2014, and they're calling him back and like, we need you to play Bail again. And he's like, really? Oh, okay, fine. And then, he's like, yeah, it's like 10 or 15 years later, so it works. It's like, okay, good. And then, fast forward another 5 or 6 years, and like, yeah, hey, Jimmy, come on, we need you on Bail again. And he's like, dude, really? It's like, all right, sure. But I love what they did with his character. I love the connection that he and Leia have. And just the stubbornness of that girl is so perfect. Yeah. And what a great established way to do this. And what a great, in fact, I think my daughter's texting me right now. Like, what do you guys think so far? I just love her. I love her, and I love and as minute I saw her and I went, that's how they're going to get Obi-Wan off Tatooine. If there's one thing that'll get Obi-Wan away from his mission, it'll be, a mission to protect the child would be to protect the other child.
Yeah.
So that's it. So it made perfect sense. And
I thought it was interesting. I just thought of this. Even though we haven't spent a chance to spend a lot of time with Luke, there's one scene in particular that you kind of see him, and you see the similarities. It's Obi-Wan is looking through his binoculars at him, and you see Owen and Luke talking, and then Luke runs off and runs behind something, and you see Owen looking around as he climbs up the thing to start doing the pod racing, and then you see Leia do something similar to run off to play in the woods. So you still have these kind of twin connection, even though they're light years apart. They're still so similar, and they both want to run off. They both want to see the galaxy,
right?
Kind of
exactly. But and I love Leia's mother too. She's a little bit more prim and proper, but you can tell that she's still, she can still, she gets her.
Leia, in that that dinner scene, the party scene where she just lays into her cousin. So,
I mean, now, do you think she's using the Force,
or is that subconsciously,
or is it just really good intuition and just really good. Like, I guess it could be force. Let's say it's
partially, maybe subconsciously,
Yeah.
It could just be like, oh, she might even realize it. She just realizes, oh, I just kind of understand people.
Yeah.
But, and we're starting to see kind of the turn of how the Empire is just kind of changing things, and Bela trying to work from within. Talking about, well, let's talk about the, ending slavery and taxation.
Yeah, save your bleeding heart for the Senate. Oh my God, there is some, and there's some commentary there, man. There really is.
Oh yeah,
but it's interesting, But anyway, so I love the barely seen. You barely saw R2D2, and you got a little bit more view of 3PO doing the translating. I liked. I think that you just need to see them. They're there. That's fine. What I love about this, what I really, really, truly love about this, is that this could set up an interesting spin-off show about Leia. That is, we've established now this little girl. We've established that she can act. She can hold her own, and it would be fun to see her go on other adventures. But
almost like I think it would be a good for a show for kids, like a live action kid show, Star Wars kid show, with Leia as the main, someone that little girls can look up to. And
yeah, absolutely. But all right. So then go back to Obi Wan himself. Get a little bit. He bartered with the Jawa for a toy, a very familiar toy, the Skyhopper.
The Skyhopper,
and then
Skyhopper, yeah,
which he leaves quietly, outside the homestead. Interesting that the next day Lars throws it back and hits on the ground and breaks it. So but we know Luke ends up with it eventually, or ends up with a toy like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
But oh man, it was so cool hearing what's the actor's name? Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, Joel
doing Lars again, and really trying to capture that the Phil Brown, older grizzled Lars. He's he's a few steps closer to that, But it was so interesting to hear like how much he was truly trying to protect Luke. Mm-hmm. And how much he kind of understood, that, we already saw it in the preview, but that burn that he gave Obi-Wan, like he did his father.
Yeah. Like he did his father. Oh.
And it's like, so, you got to take it. You got to give him credit. From his point of view, he's not wrong.
No.
So.
And everything in Star Wars is from a certain point of view.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe that's where Obi-Wan got that from.
Then we get our real strong look. We got a little bit of Reva in the initial introduction of the Inquisitors.
Such a hot, and attractive, yes, but I meant hot, like hot-headed.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting because I'm interested to see exactly what her motivation is. Why exactly does she hate Obi-Wan in particular? Why this particular? So it's going to be interesting to kind of see, and we'll get into that later.
There's a lot of talk on that, and you know what, and it's something, I've been seeing a lot of different theories. Most of them point to maybe she was that first girl, like we said, that we saw, and that could be true, and maybe it's not. We have to just wait and see. There's part of me. There's a lot of people that before, with just the trailer, a lot of people were thinking, oh, this girl, she's attractive, which automatically means that she's going to turn good at the end. And maybe that's true, okay? But I would be okay with an ending that didn't do that. We got to remember, we never see these Inquisitors ever again.
Yeah.
So once...
Yeah, we'll get to... we're going to get to some of that later on, but immediately, this took it to another level very quickly when though I think it was the fifth brother, is saying there'll be a reward for any information. And then she turns around and is like, but if you don't, the consequences will be, and we'll start with your hand.
And then she followed through on that with that one lady.
Quick, that old lady, I'm just like, Oh, okay.
We're establishing the fact that this girl does not fool around.
No.
Which is refreshing. It isn't just empty threats. So there you go.
And it's to the point that even the other Inquisitors are basically going, dude, chill.
I know, that's hysterical. Like they keep holding her back. They're like, I'm like, which one are you? Which of you are the villains? Because you're all supposed to be villains, but only she's the one who's doing it. The rest of you are like, no. We're supposed to. It felt like Austin Powers. It's like the Dr. Evil. No, we're just supposed to just sit here. You just don't get it. Like remember this? What's his name? The son. He's like, I got a gun in the other room. I will go. I'll get it. I'll come in here. Boom, bang, dead, done. And then Dr. Evil's like, Scott, you just don't get it. It's like, it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Anyway, So Obi-Wan kept his secret,
and I thought it was,
and so did Owen. I thought that was
interesting, though. How he talked about the Jedi, and you could tell. Now, obviously, he was acting, but the way the character was being portrayed, and when he was talking about this, is saying the Jedi are vermin. That he believed that, like he hates the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like that character, like really does consider that wasn't a ploy. I mean, he knew that if he tried to make that up, that it was funny because Reva picked the right person to protect Obi-Wan. Reva picked the absolute right person to try to interrogate Owen, because Owen will honestly say, I do not like the Jedi. I have no use for the Jedi. I don't like the Jedi. They are vermin to me, and he's not lying. So yeah.
But but at the end of the day, he was just protecting Luke. So, and I loved the new Grand Inquisitor. I love the way he presents himself. It's a different type of way of carrying. The way of his syntax, the way he expresses himself, the way he talks is very interesting, and it's not the same, I don't think, as any other villain that we've had.
Yeah.
So. Next thing you know, we got the little dee-doo beep coming from Obi-Wan's little chest.
Mm-hmm.
Same sound, by the way, as Order 66. So that must have freaked him out. And he picks it up, and it's Bail and Bria, and they're talking about their. Actually, we got to go back to. to Alderaan first. Yeah, and Alderaan, of course.
One thing, a lot of people have not picked this up when they're looking at the kidnappers. A lot of people, of course, noticed Flea.
Needles. Flea. Needles from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I was like, how's the hanging, McFly? Yeah.
Bass player from Red Hot Chili Peppers. But you also had in that group a
Feline.
A Feline. And no one's mentioning that. I saw the ponytail. I'm like, why is no one mentioning
Shadows of the Empire, Prince Shizor. Yep, I caught it.
Seeing a Feline, and a couple of people mentioned the not the Zabrak, Maul's.
Yeah, I know. I can never remember his species, but
no one is mentioning the Feline. I'm just like, ah.
Oh, I want to see if Google knows this. Hey Google, what kind of species is Darth Maul?
Here's what I understood from the website fandom.com. Darth Maul was a force-sensitive male Dathomirian
Zabrak.
I was
from
right.
Dathomir.
Zabrak from Dathomir. Yes.
That's good. I'm good. Thanks, Google. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
May the force be with you. Okay.
And also with you.
Hey Google. May the force be with you.
I feel more like a droid than a Jedi.
Did you hear that? I feel more like a droid than a Jedi.
Nice.
All right.
But
gotta love Google. Yeah. So it was great to see that. So she gets kidnapped, and that sets up the story. That sets up what we need. And there's your power of myth. They hologram FaceTime Obi-Wan, and he denies it. He said, "No, I'm not doing it. Get somebody else.
Yeah,
I'm not the man I used to be." He refuses the call. He refuses the call to adventure, and next thing you know, Bail has apparently he knows where he is at all times. So Bail just showed up, And there he is, and in the cave, and he's like, "This is where we've been able to track their ship. This is where they're going. I need you to find them." And he manages to convince Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan has to go down out into the desert. How the heck did he find that buried box?
The Force is the only thing
the Force was the only thing that guided him, I guess, because he. And I love the beats and the feel of like how that's kind of the opposite of what happened with Rey burying the lightsabers at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and here's Obi-Wan digging up two of them, and I forgot that he would have both. He actually had both.
I thought it was like, oh, that's right, he did walk out.
And then he goes off, and you see him, go to the spaceport, and as he puts his credits down, you can see him hiding his lightsaber. So. A really cool first episode. I'm going to jump on. I want to keep going. So let's get on to the second episode. Now he's, of course, off planet. He's trailing. What is the name of the planet?
Oh, I don't remember. It's a brand new planet.
Yeah, I want to get this one. Let's see. New planet. Nope, that's not it. Well, all right. Anyway, what is the new planet? Anyway, Daiyu. That's right.
Daiyu.
Daiyu. And it says it's supposed to be based on like Tokyo and
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong kind of thing. And it was beautiful production design in that. Mm-hmm. And how cool and weird was it to see Temuera Morrison as a
clone, as a
beat up old clone, not just any clone. He was a 501st clone. Yeah, he was a clone that was with Anakin that attacked the temple. Yeah, and then somehow he got thanks to the Bad Batch, we're learning how the Empire kind of phased out the clones. So the clones mostly just kind of, I guess some of them stuck around, but most of them just kind of went off and they no longer had Camino to get support. And again,
such a real strong message about veterans and how many veterans in ours even now end up homeless and on the streets.
Right. And how weird is that Obi-Wan actually gave him some credits?
Yeah. Well,
he probably killed some of the younglings, for God's sakes. But anyway.
Yeah, but again, that's kind of that Jedi mentality, that of not necessarily do no harm, but I still, we still help those who are in need,
right? Regardless, yeah. So, all right. So then we see Leia gets, put into a little cubby and tied with rope, and let's talk about Lola. Let's talk about the little droid, Lola.
Oh, I mean, yes.
They, it's like the new Star Wars, the new Disney acquisition of Star Wars has resulted in some of the cutest droids, and they just keep going cuter and cuter. First it's BB-8, then it's Dio, and now we have Lola, who's a total throwback to. You ever see the movie Batteries Not Included?
Yeah.
That was like a batteries not included droid if I ever saw one. Mm-hmm. So now I'm crossing the streams here. I think that the batteries not included droids were actually those little robots were actually droids from
the Star Wars universe.
From the Star Wars universe. Now that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So it all makes sense now. Anyway, so he got damaged, but I'm hoping that he'll be repaired at some point.
Yeah. Because Lola called Leia did call Lola her.
I was appreciating the rescue and the whole weirdness of it with Obi-Wan and this little Leia.
Yeah,
I love that. When they're in the
we all forgot to mention of the little cameo of Obi-Wan's daughter.
Oh yeah, look at giving her the spice
and naming the different spices from the different naming Jor. And then Glitter Stem, which that's kind of a deep cut for those who were fans of the old EU legends.
And you do know that that was Obi-Wan's daughter. That was Ewan McGregor's
Ewan
daughter.
McGregor's daughter. Yeah,
and I love that. It's like you'll forget you even had a daughter.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah, still, I mean, these little cuts they're doing, these little things of bringing in Legends continuity and Legends thing, like I said, showing the Faline, mentioning Glitterstem,
just widening the world or the galaxy, I should say.
And also the first time we've seen people high on spice.
Well, I know, right? I mean, for the longest time, when I heard Luke say, "Oh, my father wasn't in the war; he didn't fight in the Clone War. He was a navigator on a spice freighter." I just figured it was a freighter holding, oregano, garlic, garlic powder. I just look at my, maybe some vanilla. I just thought it was. I mean, as a kid, I thought it was just spices. I didn't realize until later, like,
he was a drug runner.
He was a drug runner. Okay, gotcha. Right. Which, I'm like, wow, that's an interesting way to go. But anyway, so so we've seen some people get a little high. Maybe they were playing some Hendrix. It'd be fun. And then, but oh my God, the whole thing with Obi-Wan and Leia out in the street.
We forgot one big thing. The fake Jedi. When he goes to...
Oh, wow. When he was going around, I was going to come back to him. But now, don't even ask me his name. I don't want to mispronounce it. But he's an outstanding actor. And I've seen him kind of, grow in popularity.
Yeah. But again, another little deep cut. The little boy that he was helping was named Corran.
Oh.
A lot of people are speculating that could be the character of Corran Horn, who shows up later in some of the, I believe it was the video games. The Jedi, some of the early '90s Jedi games. But he was a big character. I think he was even in Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, okay.
One of the characters.
Kumail Nanjiani. Yeah. That's who this is. And
but he is still using it's still early enough after that people still remember the Jedi and still trust the Jedi. And I like
But he's kind of got, to me, he had a little bit of Lando going because, at first he was kind of really nefarious, and then next thing you know, he's helping him. Yeah. So I don't know if he's going to flip back the other way, or is he going to be a Lando, or is he going to be a DJ?
Well, I think he even kind of said it at the end where you said, "Is like, have I done some bad things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I feel bad about it?
Sometimes.
Do I like credits?
Credits? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You could buy so many things with credits. It's just funny, like, that's the honest.
Well, even when he's asking for the money, he's like, I need the payment, and he just kind of like does that little finger thing, like, come on, go, hand it over, like, oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no. That was a cute little move, but So, but I love when we have Obi-Wan and Leia out in the market, and he's like getting her the outfit, and then he says, he's like, we don't put those down. We don't need those. And then a moment later, and the gloves too.
Yeah.
She's just putting them on. Like, I'm a princess, and this is what's going to happen. And how cute was she in that outfit? She was right out of Return of the Jedi with the little green poncho. So, and very interesting. Like, she's a stubborn little whip. She doesn't trust him. She runs away from him. And then it becomes a cat and mouse chase. And it really, then Raya turns all the bounty hunters on him. So you start hearing all the sounds of the pucks going off. And I'm like, even Obi-Wan is like, oh my God, here we go. To the point where even Leia sees it and thinks that he's bad. So it's just a,
And actually,
great back and forth.
The Erebus translation, when you see the thing, it read, wanted, Obi Wan Kenobi, crime, high treason. I think something like take precautions. It was something like that, but it was saying wanted, dead or alive, Obi Wan Kenobi, crime of high treason.
Yes. I saw that in some of the trailer, trailer breakdowns. But did some really great action sequences up on the roof, a little parkour there with the Raya jumping around. Totally stabs the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah. Which
now
here's I have 3 theories about that. Okay, one theory is he somehow lives because we've seen people live.
You can get shot in the stomach. Look at Fennec Shan. You can get shot in the stomach and come back. So he's.
My second theory is, and this is the one I think is the least likely, it's a completely different character who just happens to look like.
Maybe.
The third is that the Grand Inquisitor that we'll see later on in Rebels is a clone.
Maybe.
I think the first one is the most likely, but the second one would be also tie into what we see later in Last Jedi with the Emperor starting to practice with cloning people who are Force sensitive to make himself a clone. So that would be kind of part and parcel what the Emperor's like, okay, let me experiment with this to see if I can clone Force sensitive people and they will keep their Force powers.
Right.
So either one, but here's my question. This is what I'm really, really looking forward to seeing is how did Reva know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker?
Yes.
And seeing Obi-Wan's reaction of hearing that name and just immediately
all he needed was Lord Vader will be pleased.
And he's just
because he knows that Darth Vader, he knows that that's Anakin's moniker now.
Yeah.
Or, he knew that was Anakin's moniker when they fought on Mustafar. But Anakin Skywalker is alive or whatever. That was a little bit of I will be honest with you, that statement I did feel was necessary, except for the non-fans, for the people who don't know for sure what that means.
Yeah.
They just need to establish that Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin was alive. But that is not his name. He is not Anakin. And I don't think he would have ever, I don't know if, I guess Rey would just say that to make sure Obi-Wan knew who she was talking about.
And I thought it was interesting that, obviously that last shot, but you had the first time of Obi-Wan speaking his name, saying, like, he hasn't said it, Anakin, and then boom, we got that quick cut to Hayden, which I love that the first time we see Vader, it's not in the suit. It's Hayden Christensen in the back.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Hayden Christensen. Yeah. I mean, when you really think about it, we've never really seen him. It's 10 years after, and we really haven't seen him out of the mask, except for the back, until he almost dies, like right at the end of Return of the Jedi. And at that point, he's very much scarred over. So there's definitely, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of unmasked. Now, whether we've talked about it, whether or not we're going to see any flashbacks will remain to be seen. But we'll see tomorrow morning. Or tomorrow we'll have the next episode. So cool, such a great, captivating story.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. Only 4 more episodes, so it's not a huge commitment. So that'll be fun. So
yeah, definitely.
But you enjoyed it overall?
I did. I mean, I think I wouldn't say I have any issue. My only issue is my biggest thing that not really an issue because I'm wanting to see where they take it, how they answer the questions are with the character of Reva. What are her motivations? How does she know that Anakin is Darth Vader?
I would imagine that all of that will be answered.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories going out there, and as much as I do enjoy hearing theories, just so everybody understands that these are theories. They're not.
Yeah.
If as long as they're theories, they're fine. But if they're expectations and it doesn't go that way, and you got to learn that, not you, but people have to learn to accept that sometimes it isn't what you think it's going to be. The story's been written already, folks. It's been filmed.
Yeah.
It's already in the can, as they say. And, we'll find out in the next 4 episodes how things go. We may even find out tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. But
all right.
Good chat on this. Good chat on Celebration. So I guess next week we'll continue with our next episode.
We'll look at episode 3 of Obi Wan Kenobi.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yes. All right. Well, then, Will, why don't you tell the fine folks out there where they can find you at?
Well, I am typically hanging out on YouTube at Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. I've got a lot of, basically we just do a lot of unboxings of Star Wars collectibles and a few other things here and there. And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can also email me, darthtuba77@gmail.com.
All right. As for us, if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us, warofthestars1@gmail.com. That is also our Twitter handle. We are rapidly growing to almost 900 followers on our Twitter page.
Cool.
I'm hoping that by next year we will hit the 1,000 mark. So,
all right. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, we are, of course, part of the Red 5 Network, red5network.com for more information on all the shows. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/War of the Stars, or go to our Spreadshirt shop. Just type in spreadshirt.com/shop, and then type in the search engine, just type in War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Also, if you're not able to listen to us live, check us out wherever fine podcasts are heard: Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, all those fun places. We are there. And yeah, so as always, remember, this isn't just my Star Wars. This is just your Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
Till the spires, everyone.